Today, we're going to be making Minecraft absolutely brutal with mods. The game that you know and love and probably use to get yourself in a nice calm state of mind is now going to be a constant battle for your survival. And honestly, for any of you that actually give this a try, I apologize because I'm not lying when I say that this is absolutely ridiculous. Of course, you can evaluate the mods for yourself and remove ones that you believe are maybe a little over the top, but regardless, the challenge is going to be increased substantially. So anyway, let's go ahead and check out how we're going to do it. So to start things off, we're going to be adding a few mods that add some pretty powerful enemies to the game. And honestly, I'm going to let you know now, these things are pretty dangerous, but for the most part, they're going to be the least of your worries. And the first of these mods we'll be including is Mutant Monsters. And this is an updated version of the Mutant Beasts mod, which was an updated version of the Mutant Creatures mod. And to this day, I'd still say this is one of the best mods that adds new, kind of boss-like creatures to the game. They have really cool looking models and animations, and best of all, are very dangerous. Really, any of the creatures included in this mod have a very high chance of killing you if you're not prepared for them. So try to make sure you are. And in addition to Mutant Monsters, we'll be including Mutant More, which is inspired by the Mutant Creatures mod. And this will give us an additional 3 more mutant creatures to battle against. And these are just as dangerous, if not more so than the mutant creature counterparts. And I also noticed they have some boss music, which is pretty cool. Next, I've included the Upgrade Aquatic mod, and honestly, pretty much the only reason I'm including this is because it adds these absolute abominations to bodies of water. And trust me when I say this, if you get caught by one of these guys, you're probably a goner. They are avoidable, as they seem to hunt by sonar or something like that, but really, just don't get caught by them. After that, I'm gonna do something really mean. So, you know how zombies aren't too bad, but baby zombies are pretty awful? Well, I'm installing a mod that adds babies for every single mob in the game that tries to kill you. And as one would expect, the baby versions of pretty much any of these creatures are horrendous to go against. Trust me, you're gonna love it when there's a baby Enderman that you pretty much just can't hit because it's so fast. Or a baby skeleton, as if there needed to be a more evil version of skeletons. Truly, this has to be one of the more horrifying mods to exist, and that's why I'm including it on the list. And finally, the last mod I'll be adding for this particular section is Nif Spiders, and this isn't necessarily adding a new creature to the game, however, it makes spiders so much more difficult they might as well be a new mob, as they can now crawl across any surface, doesn't matter what direction it's facing, they're gonna find a way to reach you. Alright, now for this next section, we're going to be focusing on adding mods that simply make the creatures in your game far more dangerous to come across. And honestly, you're not going to be coming across them, they're just going to find you. And the first one we'll be installing is Improved Mobs, which is going to increase the difficulty of mobs significantly in quite a few ways, to be honest. For starters, the mod introduces a difficulty system, so as time passes, mobs' damage, health, and speed are all going to increase. And where this mod gets really wild is all the abilities it introduces. If you try to escape, say by building really high, a mob is just going to summon something to fly on and reach you pretty easily. If you try to escape in the water, same issue. It's going to summon a guardian and probably just follow right behind you. And in addition to this, mobs are also going to be able to use things like ender pearls, flint and steel, TNT, and lava buckets. So overall, this mod alone is going to be making the game a whole lot more difficult. But don't worry, we're going to continue and make this much worse. So now we'll be installing progressive difficulty. And what this mod is going to do is separate the game into stages. And once you pass these stages, it's going to get more difficult. And the specific moments in which your game will get more difficult is when you enter the Nether and when you defeat the Ender Dragon. So once you accomplish these things, mobs are only going to be harder to kill. And probably the other feature you'll notice most often is the bleeding it introduces. A fair amount of the time when you get hit by something, you're going to start bleeding, and this lasts for some time. It's kind of like a poison effect, to be honest. And the only way to stop it is with a bandage. And you may be thinking that this is kind of unfair, and it is, but you can also make mobs bleed, so there's at least that. And yet another mod we'll be installing which adds some truly horrifying AI to creatures is Nightmare Epic Siege. And honestly, this might be the most horrifying one yet. On its own, this mod makes it so enemies will target you from much farther away, creepers will detonate regardless of whether or not there's a wall separating you from them, and zombies even have the ability to dig to you pretty much wherever you are. And in combination with the 2 previously installed mods, pretty much every single mob you come across is going to be a huge battle, and when there's a bunch of them, things aren't going to be looking good for you.